And that's what I want to highlight here. The intense rainfall that will occur through portions of northern Georgia, South Carolina, getting into southern West Virginia. When we were talking about it at the top of this break here, we were talking about that once in a generation storm, and that's the possibility that we have through northern Georgia and into, or I should say eastern Georgia, into South Carolina and some of those mountains of North Carolina. Here it is coming through as we get into this evening. There's still already quite a bit of rain. We've had the rain yesterday in this region of the southern Appalachians. We get it again throughout the day into tonight, and it continues into tomorrow, because even after Helene Lake's landfall, look at all this moisture. It's just feeding more into that low pressure system that ultimately absorbs Helene, but stretches out all the rain across this region and continues to deal with it then as we head into Friday evening too. When we're done and talking about this storm, we will be talking about quite a bit of rain on top of some wind. Winds will still gust to more than numbers here, because if you look at it by the numbers, we have so many millions of people that are either under a hurricane warning, 5.6 here, storm surge warning, 6.9 million here, and look at all of the additional ones with the tropical storm warnings. More than 70 million, almost 75 million people under that threat. So we do have a lot of folks to be concerned with. If you just look at the tropical storm watches, the hurricane watches that are in place and warnings, they extend into North Carolina. So we know, because this storm is going to become so powerful and move so quickly at landfall, it's going to get pretty far inland before it significantly weakens, just because it's already got all that momentum coming through. Our biggest concern will be that rainfall. You can see why we are highlighting this area here. We've been talking about the elevation squeezing out extra moisture on top of it. They're already dealing with rain and flooding this morning. We have winds, though, as you can tell, that will be gusting to more than 60 miles per hour there towards the coast where the storm makes landfall, places like St. George Island. That's where we'll be talking about more than 120 mile per hour wind gusts. Storm surge, huge difference here. If you're, say, Indian Pass, you'll see about 6 to 10 feet. Meanwhile, Apalachicola Bay, we're looking at 10 to 15 feet. And as you work your way, widespread power outages. That is why the state of Georgia is under a state of emergency, the entire state, by the way. We still have the potential for tornadoes to come here, too. So that will be another risk that we're talking about today through tonight. And that view courtesy of EarthCam gives you an indication of why. We have schools shut down Thursday into Friday here as we get this storm lifting northward. It is moving so fast, it's still a tropical storm in northern Georgia. So not only do we get the rain coming down, but we also have the winds. Of course, the worst of it will be near landfall. That's where we have wind gusts of more than 130 miles per hour in a place like Apalachicola. But it is that rain that we are concerned about farther north that will pose a life-threatening risk here into the mountains of North Carolina, northern Georgia, and parts of South Carolina. So you want to be prepared. We've already picked up in those spots 6+ inches of rain, like Asheville, North Carolina. So you can see it doesn't take